Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I appreciate the flexibility. And as Senator Barrasso had mentioned in his opening statement, back in 2015, I was proud to introduce legislation that would have nullified the Obama administration's flawed WOTUS rule. And this is a rule that gave the federal government authority to regulate 97% of the land in Iowa. And it posed serious challenges for farmers, for our ranchers, and numerous other stakeholders. And I can truly say this is one of those issues where people that don't normally collaborate together came together in opposition to this far-reaching rule. Unfortunately, after passing both the House and Senate with bipartisan support, my legislation was vetoed by President Obama. Getting this rule off the books has been one of my top priorities, and I'm encouraged by the Trump administration's proposed rule, which provides much-needed predictability and certainty by establishing clear and reasonable definitions of what qualifies as an actual water of the United States. While the 2015 rule recognized ditches broadly as a water of the U.S., what I'd like to do is go ahead. We'll talk about ditches, but I do want to ask Mr. Goring. The rule recognized ditches broadly as waters of the U.S. The proposed rule only defines certain ditches as waters of the U.S. And though this can be seen as an improvement upon the 2015 rule, do you believe that the EPA and the Corps should provide additional clarification as to what ditches qualify as waters of the U.S.?
Mr. Chairman and Senator Ernst, yes, I believe they need to expand that definition, clarify it, because in many cases ditches are an artificial feature,
right,
generally moved to convey water, and many municipalities and states which have authority over the waters of the state already are going to make sure that they adhere to the Clean Water Act and that water is appropriated, allocated, conserved, and retained properly.
Very good, and I appreciate that perspective. So ditches is one of those issues that we need to overcome. Another area is, like was described earlier, standing water, maybe perhaps in a field or so. But Mr. Fornstrom, under the proposed rule, intermittent water features are jurisdictional and are defined as surface water flowing continuously during certain times of a typical year. In your testimony, you recommend including a minimum duration of continuous flow for a feature to be considered intermittent. What regulatory challenges or confusion would this change that you've recommended help prevent?
Thank you, Senator Ernst. The intermittent issue that we have is we would appreciate a 90-day minimum on a regulation to clarify. We have rainfalls in Wyoming that will start the runoff, and sometimes that coincides with snowpack. A true intermittent.
Right.
So it would change and clarify the rules so we would know. We're not lawyers, we're farmers.
Right, right. And do you think there would be challenges with trying to enforce the regulation as it's proposed right now because folks don't know necessarily what the definition is?
Yes, the idea that not knowing what the rule actually is makes it hard to actually follow the rule. So, we want to follow the law. That's what we want to do.
Exactly. No, I appreciate that very much. And I do have some time remaining. Chairman, I'll yield back. Thank you very much.
Thank